So we welcome you. This is our third professional learning series session for the Michigan Learning Channel in partnership with MAISA. My name is Annie Spear, and I am an early literacy professional learning coordinator for MESA, with the longest title in the world between my title, and MESA stands for the Michigan Association of Intermediate School Administrators, also known as MAISA. And I'm also a first grade teacher on the Michigan Learning Channel for Read, Write, Roar. Today, we could not have our projects director with us, Susan Townsend, but she is sending her best and appreciative of all of you here in our state and beyond that are using the channel and all the literacy essentials. So thank you on her behalf. And just wanted to give a shout out to Dr. Rhonda Provost, who is our, she coordinates all of these pieces for us and keeps us all on track with things. So Rhonda, if you want to say hi, just so people see your face and hear your voice.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's session on Let's Write. Glad you're here.
Thanks, Rhonda. So today we will be diving into Let's Write lessons. So before we get started, a few things we do want you to have. There will be a few things going into the chat today, but we won't be putting in as many. We just don't want to be distracting for you. But the first thing that you will want to have handy is a link to the essential instructional practices in early literacy. So we'll be talking about those and referencing them throughout. And the thing we want you to know is that the essentials are for teachers. They help us to know the how we should be teaching lessons. They're all grounded in research and all the practices that we strive to use. You know, there's adjustments we make sometimes because it's broadcast, but we make all of the work that we do aligned to those research supported practices. And we also have a few other links for you today that are going to be in the learner guide. We have the Michigan ELA standards for English language arts, but we also today are including the Michigan science standards and the social studies standards. Specifically for our Let's Write lessons, we've really tried to make a connection between those content areas and help to build content knowledge around the learning that would be happening at those grade levels. So all these materials will be available to you in that learner guide and at the close. And I'm going to turn things over to Jillian Gainsley, who's the programming director for the Michigan Learning Channel. Welcome, Jillian.
Hi, Annie, and hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. As Annie mentioned, this is really a joint production from the Michigan Learning Channel and MESA, and we produced and created Read, Write, Roar together as an opportunity to really showcase the literacy essentials and showcase some of the best teachers from around Michigan, and provide an opportunity for students to have those lessons. The Michigan Learning Channel is a partnership between all the PBS stations in Michigan, and it wouldn't be PBS if we didn't take a moment to thank our sponsors. That is AAA, who have supported this professional learning workshop and are supporting a lot of our literacy work on the channel. So the Michigan Learning Channel is actually a 24/7 TV channel. It's available across the entire state of Michigan from your local PBS station. And if you are watching it on your antenna television, it'll probably be, you know, the 0.4 or the 0.5. You'll be able to scan your TV and get it on broadcast. And so we really thought that was essential to reach students and learners who don't have internet access at home, to give them high quality resources over on TV. If you do have internet access, we have you covered there too. There's a live stream of the channel at michiganlearning.org. And most importantly for teachers, you can find every single one of these episodes on demand. So if you want to send it home with a parent to reinforce the concept, you want to watch it yourself, if you want to give it to your sub so that they can cover some of the topics while they're while they're subbing in your classroom, or if they just want to get some ideas and use them in your classroom, it's there for you at michiganlearning.org. One of the most exciting things about the Michigan Learning Channel, if you can go to the next slide, is that we're really all about engagement. And so across the state, we have these 6 engagement coordinators, and their job is to bring the Michigan Learning Channel and PBS Kids resources to your district. And so please feel free to find your local person, reach out to them. They are really, operators are standing by, but really they are standing by to to work with you, bring you professional learning opportunities like this, and then also bring our summer program and our after school programs into your classroom. So without further ado, we'd love to have you at Michigan Learning Channel, and we're excited to share this and to share the program Read, Write, Roar.
Thanks, Jillian. And I'm really excited today to be able to introduce some other colleagues that are joining us today on the call. So here's our agenda. We are finishing up our welcome here. We'll do the overview, and then we'll get to hear from Shannon Fuller. So Shannon, if you can say hi so people can see you. She'll be doing Inside the Lesson 1 for us.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Shannon. So she'll be talking about informational writing in 2nd grade. And then we have Christi Gilbert, who will be joining us as well today and talking about 3rd grade. So Christi, can you say hi so everyone can see you as well?
Yeah, hi, everyone. It's good to see you and good to see some familiar faces.
Thanks, Christi. So one of the things we want to make sure is that we try and keep track of who's joining us. So we're going to put a sign-in link into the chat for you. And part of that, we ask which ISD that you are connected to. So we will also put in a map so you can find where you are in the ISD if you're not sure. And that would also link back to support thinking about who your engagement coordinator is if you weren't sure who you should be reaching out to. So that will support you with that as well. Let's see. So we are going to roll into now thinking about what our Let's Write lessons are about and what they're connected to for our essential instructional practices. So one of the things we really want you to know is that they are grounded in Essential 1. And Essential 1's STEM says, deliberate research-informed efforts to foster literacy, motivation, and engagement within and across lessons. And so in this series of lessons that we aim to focus on bullet 1 and create opportunities for children to see themselves as successful readers and writers. And in the examples that we will outline today, we hope that you will see the types of things that we put in place to show success criteria for children. And then bullet 2 of Essential 1 talks about daily opportunities, and we don't have the opportunity with the way that the programming is done that we could be with children, certainly not in person daily, but we do try, you can get access to this, like Jillian was saying, 24/7, so you could put up a lesson every day. And we really try and make sure that children have choice. We know that that really guides their motivation and engagement. And so we ask children to choose a topic. So we sort of outline ways to write and let them choose something they might want to talk about. So as an example, in 1st grade, last marking period 3, we did an informational writing unit, how to write an informational text. And so I modeled the researching and writing process using frogs as my topic to study about how adults and offspring are different, and then the things that they need to survive. But the students were invited, children who are watching are invited to choose their own animal that they might want to do. So we also really want them to think about their audience. And so for bullet 3, when we talk about children having purposes for writing, we want to really make sure that all kids in writing have a way that they're communicating their writing in terms of an audience. Like, who would you be writing this for? And trying to have authentic audiences for children. So certainly they're our authentic audience, but we help them to try and think about who would be an audience you would share your story with. And Shannon and Christi will share other examples with us in their work today. The next thing that we want to make sure that we give you a copy of in our work today, that everything is going to be grounded in. Whoops, sorry, the way mine are written are a little different. Do we have the essentials? Okay, sorry. Hold up there. So one of the things I want to make sure is that you know about Essential 6. So the heart of all of our Let's Write lessons are connected to Essential Instructional Practice 6, and that is research and standards aligned writing instruction. And we really focus on bullets 3, 4, and parts of 5 for this. So again, we're really trying to model those writing processes and strategies like researching, planning, revising, and editing. And we also think about models of text, which you're going to see an example of that today. So the last part that we talk about, we don't really do keyboarding or word processing necessarily in this, but we do have lots of examples of explicit instruction in letter formation and spelling strategies, capitalization, punctuation, sentence construction, things you might consider for grammar. And if you were looking for more information on this, we'll talk a little bit more at the end about how you can access free modules on Essential 6 and learn more about writing. Another piece that we're going to share with you today that's in the learner guide is the What Works Clearinghouse Practice Guide. So the essentials themselves have a lot of the research from this practice guide that is connected to them. But then for you as teachers or coaches, there's so many excellent strategies right in there, and that is free. And so you will see some of the work that we are doing has that in there for you. Again, we're focusing on second and third grade today for we're going to hear from Christi and Shannon about their thoughtful processes of writing instruction for second and third grade. And we aren't highlighting kindergarten and first grade because we've done those before, but in kindergarten, when you do have a chance to look at those, much of those lessons are going to be centered around that bullet 5, and the newly airing lessons that are coming out focus on things like concept of print, on letter formation, and applying informational text feature instruction, and then applying letter sound relationships in writing. So I will say that if you do watch the units that we've done so far, we really are sort of pushing the envelope with the types of things that we are asking for students to do as writers. But when we give children an opportunity to write, they really do rise to the occasion. And having been a former first grade teacher, which was where I spent most of my classroom time, 8.5 years in first grade, when we can model and scaffold and support kids, they really can do so much. But knowing we're coming out of a pandemic, also know that you might have children in your class who didn't have that same opportunity for writing instruction last year. And so as a second or third grade teacher, you might have been looking back at some of the things we've done in first grade, and those might support your second and third graders just to start the process if they didn't have that last year. So certainly this year is a different kind of year in lots of ways for us. Okay, so let's see. The last essential that we want to really make note of is the bullet 5 of essential 4. Our first 2 professional learning really focused a lot on essentials 4 and 5. And for this one, we want to let you know that we do really encourage children to use estimated spelling. We know how important that is. And so especially in our Let's Write lessons in KN1, we model a lot of phoneme segmentation when we're writing new words and show how you use what you know about letters and sounds to write words that you know. And then we encourage them, when you're writing on your own, do this as well. So that's that. And the last thing I want to show you is just sort of how these map out. So you'll have this as a reference, and this page is really to show you mostly the ELA connections and essentials connections and skills. So you can see the types of things that we model, where they're connected in the essentials, and then the My ELA standards that they are connected to. So the way it works is when you see EIP, that stands for Essential Instructional Practice. And when you get to the standards part, for an example, when you see L.2.1, the L stands for language, and the 2 for grade 2, and the 1 for the first strand of that. And I often think of Dr. Tanya Wright and Dr. Nell Duke, who talk about, the language strand, often the forgotten strand of the of all of our different Common Core or Michigan Learning Standards. So really, you can feel happy knowing there's a lot of language strands that are called upon in this. So I'm done with all this introduction, and now I'm really excited to turn things over to Shannon Fuller, who is a second grade teacher, and I'm going to tell us a little bit more about herself and all the other roles she plays in life. So thanks, Shannon, for being here, and I turn things over to you. And Shannon, we'll just have you, I think you're still on mute. Yes.
I am. Thank you,
Annie.
Annie.
Yeah, no problem. Sure.
Thanks everyone for being here. So I'm Shannon Fuller. I'm a second grade teacher for Read, Write, Roar, and previously a coach for the first grade Read, Write, Roar episodes. I'm an early literacy coach and coaching coordinator for the Manistee ISD. Prior to becoming a literacy coach, I taught for 23 years as a 5th grade and kindergarten teacher at Athens area schools. Today, I'm going to talk to you about writing instruction in lessons called Let's Write. The Let's Write lessons across the grades focus on a variety of writing skills, including writing in response to a read aloud, writing as part of a science lesson, writing that encourages students to see themselves as successful writers, writing for an authentic purpose, explicit instruction in the writing processes, writing strategies and genres, and interactive writing and modeling. The Let's Write lessons engage students in working through a writing task with the teacher. Students are encouraged to get paper and something to write with and write along with the teacher. In the second grade Let's Write lessons, we cover a wide range of writing focus areas, including poetry writing in episode 416, writing to support a science lesson in episode 205, and persuasive writing in upcoming lesson 212. In the lesson we're going to look at today, we're using information from the text, Gopher to the Rescue, a volcano recovery story, written by Terry Katassis Jennings, to write an informational response to question, how can a volcanic eruption change the Earth? The reading and the question align with our grade 2 science standards, and the big question, what processes change the Earth? The purpose of the lesson is to use information from the text to answer an important question, as well as to introduce and model a writing strategy. In this case, the RACE strategy to write an informational response. This lesson aligns to Essential Instructional Practice 6, Research and Standards Aligned Writing Instruction, and parts of Essential Instructional Practice 1, Motivation and Engagement. We're going to watch part of the second grade Let's Write lesson in episode 206. In the chat, we're going to put a reflection form that you can use to watch the video to jot down your thoughts. When you click on the link to the reflection form, it will bring you to a screen that asks you to make a copy. That way you can use the form to record your own ideas. After viewing, we will put you into groups to share your reflections and questions. Okay, let's read, write, roar. We're going to answer this question. How can a volcanic eruption change the Earth? If you have a piece of paper and something to write with, go ahead and get that. To help us write our answer to the question, we're going to use the RACE strategy. The RACE strategy is a writing strategy that'll help us include all the important information when we write our answer. The R in RACE stands for restate. Restate the question. When we start our answer, we want to be sure to restate or include part of the answer in our statement. The A stands for answer. Answer the question. We want to be sure we think about what is the question asking us, and we want to be sure we include all parts of the question in our answer. The C stands for cite. Cite the source. If you're using a book, you want to make sure that you give examples and details from the book. And E, explain. Explain your response. You want to be sure you give evidence from the text to support your answer. I've got our paper set up, ready for us to write our answer using the RACE strategy. If you have your piece of paper, go ahead and fold that in half, and then fold it in half one more time. When you open that up, you will have the 4 boxes that you need to write the RACE strategy. And if you'd like to practice writing this along with me, that would be great. So let's look at our question. How can a volcanic eruption change the Earth? And while we're answering the question, we're going to be thinking about what we learned in our book about gopher. So first we need to restate the question. How can a volcanic eruption change the Earth? A volcanic eruption can change the Earth by, and I'm going to stop there. I want you to see how I use part of the question to start my answer. How can a volcanic eruption change the Earth? A volcanic eruption can change the Earth by, and then we'll finish our answer. But I want you to notice that these words were taken right from the question. So a volcanic eruption can change the Earth by, in our book we read about forests being destroyed and the area being covered with ash. So So I want to include that in my beginning statement. A volcanic eruption can change the earth by destroying forests, and covering the area with ash. We're going to answer. All right. We apologize. There was a little bit of a lag in the video. Before we put you in breakout rooms, in just a minute, we're going to give you 5 minutes to talk and share in breakout rooms. Some points that you might talk about are, how do you see this connected to your instruction? What opportunities do you see? Did you notice any new practices you will implement? Or what questions might you have around this lesson, practice, or research? For time's sake, you might want to focus on one of those questions to allow time for each person to share. Please remember your group number when you accept the breakout room. If you lose connection and have to rejoin during the meeting, we can place you back into the group. And also a reminder will come up 1 minute before the meeting will close. You will stay in the room until the room closes automatically and continue to share, watching the countdown so that people can finish their sentence.
Thanks, Shannon, and thanks everyone. I'm just going to put the reflection guide in the chat one more time, just in case you didn't have a chance to see that yet. So we'll put that in so you can make a copy. A few people had, I think, got kicked out and came back in. So there you go. And we'll be getting into your breakout rooms. Have fun chatting.
I get a tray of feathers so I can cut them out so my kids can use them as patterns.
Would anyone like to share a takeaway or a way that you see using this in your context? And you can unmute and share.
I'll go. So I see we can share this with our teachers to help them reach out to their kids to use it better because they're reluctant writers, and to get them to write more or even get started. That would give them a great resource. And we commented that the anchor charts were wonderful. It's a piece that I didn't have when I was in the classroom. So that I just did it. I did those pieces, but I didn't have the anchor chart up. And I think that's a big part of it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'll share. I just have to say, I really like the acronym. This is actually something that I've been working with a 4th grade teacher on, like helping her students restate the question. And, you know, we were kind of surprised at how they just really had no idea what we were talking about when we introduced this to them. And I think having this, you know, nice little acronym and put this together on an anchor chart, I think that'll be a really nice, you know, way to kind of solidify that learning for them. So thank you for sharing that. That was a really nice, a nice tool, I think, that will be really easy to bring back to the classroom.
Great, thank you.
We might have time for one more share. Does anyone else want to share anything?
I'll share with my group. We had Anne, who was a classroom teacher, and the rest of us were coaches or part of Michigan Learning Channel. And but Anne talked about how she could use this with her 1st graders and do it more as a shared writing, and helping the kids through that, and so starting it earlier. So then kids, when you started using it, and this is my own part, using it in 2nd and 3rd grade, kids would be familiar with that strategy. and had seen it modeled. And we talked about how the precise, very explicit instruction is very helpful for children, because then we're teaching them that one thing very well and not doing tons of other things where then it kind of gets lost. So nice job, Shannon. That's what we were saying.
You. Thank you. And hi to Anne. I think the Anne you're talking about is an Anne that I work with every week.
It was. She told us how wonderful you are.
Aw,
So she
she's
wants you to come
wonderful.
over and she's going to pick your brain and you can model in her classroom.
Awesome. I would love that. All right, thank you. So in our learner guide, you'll find the links to these blank activity guide templates. There is one for informational text using the RACE strategy, as well as a story map for narrative writing. And in our upcoming first grade episodes, we use the story map to walk children through the process of writing a narrative text connected to science. So thanks everyone for your participation, and I'll turn things over now to Christi Gilbert to share about third grade lessons.
All right, thanks, Shannon. Before we jump into third grade, I'm just gonna field it to Annie for a second. There was a question in the chat, Annie, about sessions on kindergarten and first grade writing processes and where we might find those resources. Can you just speak to that for a second before I jump into third grade?
Thank you, Christy. It's very weird. I think my chat's not working right because I'm only getting, I don't have any of that in my chat. So odd. But anyhow, yes, so for kindergarten and first grade, so if you end up looking at the work that we did, the last professional learning series, the letter formation, and that piece of kindergarten's highlighted in our letter heroes, those are just airing this week. This is the first week that we've been airing that type of lesson. They also do a lot of response to reading in those. So if you try and search on the site, and we're going to be getting some more information about that too, but on the Michigan Learning Channel, Jillian and Tara have done work on that, walking you through the site, but you can search the site with certain words. For first grade, as Shannon had just mentioned, this upcoming unit, it just launched yesterday. We just started narrative writing that I modeled through that process. And then the last one, I can just look for where those episodes start and just try and put those right in the chat for you too about when that starts. So thank you, Christy, for raising that.
No worries, just wanted to make sure no question got lost. So hi everyone, I'm Christi Gilbert. I'm the third grade coach for Read Write Roar. Each grade level on Read Write Roar has a literacy coach, and we work together to create the scope and sequence both within and across grade levels. We co-plan lessons with the teachers, and we ensure that our instruction is aligned to the essential instructional practices and the Michigan ELA standards. As coaches, we also meet regularly with MAISA and DPTV so that we have continuity of communication. I am also an early literacy and English language learner coach for Kent County ISD. And prior to becoming a literacy coach, I spent 15 years as an EL teacher in schools from Kent County to South Korea. So I also want to introduce the Read Write Roar third grade teacher, Tana Hoffman. Tana is amazing. She is from JKL Badawing and Anishinaabe School in Sault Ste. Marie. So she represents our Upper Peninsula. So today I'm going to continue what Shannon started to talk about writing instruction in lessons called Let's Write. And so on that, yep, there we go. And so we see here a picture of Tana and getting ready to do some writing instruction. The third grade Let's Write lessons also engage students in working through a writing task with the teacher. Students are encouraged to get paper and something to write with so that they can write along with the teacher. In this series of lessons, we are using the informational text Rainforest Inside Out by Robin Johnson and published by Crabtree. This text was used during the read aloud prior to writing. In the read aloud, Tana modeled how to use a graphic organizer to track the topic, subtopic, and details from the book. And then Tana encouraged learners to choose a topic that they were interested in, which kind of relates back to Essential 1 with some learner choice. And to create their own graphic organizer alongside of her. The writing organizer looked exactly like the reading organizer. It included a topic, subtopics, and details. So in the lesson clip that you're going to see, Tana is modeling how to use the graphic organizer along with the model text to write her own informational text about an animal. And students are encouraged to write and think along with her. And in the next lesson, the one after this one, Tana will model how to revise her writing. Because of the sequencing, you'll notice that her writing in this lesson is a little short and a little bland. This is very purposeful so that she will have something to revise next time. The purpose of this lesson is to use a graphic organizer and a model text to create our own informational writing. This lesson aligns with essential instructional practice number 6, research and standards aligned writing instruction, especially bullet 4, using models of text. It also aligns with parts of instructional practice number 1, which is motivation and engagement. So as you watch, you can think about the questions that you got to talk about in the last session from Shannon. In the chat will be another reflection form that you can use as you watch the video to jot down your thoughts. And just like with Shannon's clip, when you click the link, it will bring up a screen that asks you to make a copy. That way you can use it for your own ideas. After watching the clip, we'll put you into groups to share your reflections and questions. All right, let's watch the video.
Now, my friends, today we are going to be thinking about, that's right, how to start this writing piece. But I don't know how to start it. So I thought, I bet you our author has something to teach me again. So I was reading through and I saw this really cool section with the 3-toed sloth. And I thought, I wonder if this could help me think of a way to start my section about woodpeckers. Say, that's how we say it in Anishinaabe, right? So woodpeckers. All right, let me think. So I came up with, let's see, it says here that the 3-toed sloths are large herbivores that hang around in the canopy. And I know the canopy is the trees, right? Right, the tippy tops of the trees. And I thought, how can I use this? And this is what I came up with. Let's see. Topic, woodpeckers. What do woodpeckers do? Woodpeckers hang around. Where do they hang around? Where's their habitat? They hang around in the, like it's a forest, right? Woodpeckers hang around in the forest. Oh, fantastic. Do you see how I use the topic, the subtopic, but more specifically the details? Yeah, woodpeckers hang around in the forest. All right, so off we go. I'm going to write that down. You ready? Okay. Woodpeckers hang around in the forest. All right. Okay, are you ready for the next one? Let's see what her next sentence is and see if she can keep helping us. Off we go. They eat mainly leaves, which do not give them much energy. Okay. So what I'd say, woodpeckers, food, which is one of our subtopics, eat, grubs. Woodpeckers hang around in the forest. Oh, okay. How about, I got it. How about this? Okay. They eat grubs. They eat insects. What do you think? So, all right. So good. All right. Well, now that I'm started, I think I can do this now. All right. What else can I come up with? Let's see. Okay. Many woodpeckers live in. I can use my new information now. Many woodpeckers live in Michigan. Yeah. Does that help? Okay. Awesome. All right. Many woodpeckers live in, next one. Isn't that great? Look how easy it is to use a mentor text, an informational book, or a nonfiction text that you love in order to help you take your topic, the ideas about your subtopic, and your details to make sentences for your own expert text. Oh my goodness, I'm getting so excited, my friends. Woo, fantastic.
All right, one thing I love about Tana is the energy that she brings and the excitement that she brings. We're going to now put you back into breakout rooms. We will have about 5 minutes to talk and share. Again, just like with Shannon's clip, please note that you may just focus on one question to share so that we allow enough time for everyone in your group to share. And just like last time, remember that you can stay in your breakout room until the room closes. So we'll go ahead and send you off to your rooms. All right, welcome back, everyone. I hope that your conversations were interesting and that you were able to share some ideas with each other. And I'd love to hear how it went and if anyone would like to share a takeaway that you thought of for your context. Feel free, just like last time, you can unmute and share.
I liked how at the very end she went through and just explicitly stated again what they had done together. I thought that was something that would be good to add into my practice.
Thanks, Allison. All right. We also have a blank learner guide template, which is in our learner guide that was shared in the chat earlier. Upcoming for third grade episodes that just began airing, we also use an organizer to walk children through the process of writing a narrative text connected to science, just like first grade. And so the link here is the organizer that Tana used with the topic, subtopic, and details, and you can take that and use it in your context to support writing in your classrooms. So I'm going to turn it over to Annie now to wrap us up.
Thank you, Christy, and thank you, Shannon. And if you feel so obliged to either emoji clap and work for Shannon and Christy, or put something in the chat, it's I really appreciate you coming and joining us today and leading this with me. So I always want to hear other voices in the field, and you're working so hard in your respective jobs that you're doing. And I'm going to say I'm sorry that my dogs are barking right now. So hopefully you can't hear that. But I wanted to let you know there are other ways to keep learning more. And so on the next slide, we're going to show you that if you didn't know, there are ways to get the free sketches. So I was in a conversation with someone who's recertifying. So there is an essential instructional practice module for every K-3 and every pre-K essential practice. So what that means is for every bullet of every essential, there's a short presentation, there's videos with the researchers, there's ways to go through and process those things. So we hope you'll take advantage of that. And then if you're an administrator, there are school-wide and center-wide modules. Certainly those of you who are in the room who are a Michigan coach, you know about the coaching modules that are free, but there's a lot of free modules. And if you go to literacyessentials.org and hit on the modules tab, you can figure out how to get registered for any of those. And a lot of you were speaking about how much you were enjoying the race strategy anchor chart. So one of the things that you see are classroom videos within Essential 6, and the tree strategy is modeled in that, as is CAPS. And so there's lots of opportunities in there. And we just advise you to really do the learning of the slides, and then also make sure that you watch the classroom videos, because you really want both pieces of it. So that's there for you if you would like to see those. And then we have a new thing that for those of you in here today, we wanted to talk to you about. So the Michigan Learning Channel wants to make sure that programming is meeting the needs of students, teachers, families, and communities across the state. And so to do that, we really need to understand better what people would like their channel to provide. So Michigan Learning Channel is currently engaged in a strategic planning process to help set priorities for the coming year, and really want to underscore that all voices matter. So we'd really love participation by everybody who would be willing to do that. There's a 4-question survey, and it's really crucial and valued if you can participate in that. So there's a short introductory video with this that we'd ask you to please watch. That is linked in the chat for you there. We have a few more things to share before you go off and do that, but you'll have the link right there. And here are the 4 questions that the survey consists of. There are 4 open-ended questions. The first is, what does the Michigan Learning Channel do well to reach and support students in learning? The second is, are you using the Michigan Learning Channel? If yes, how so? And if not, why not? The third is, as Michigan Learning Channel evolves, what educational programming and resources would be useful to you? And then the last is, what's the best way for the Michigan Learning Channel to share information about programming and resources with you? So once you enter all your thoughts, you can stay on the platform because you get to see things that other people share. And then you also get to rate the responses. And so just so you know, your participation is confidential and no one will know what you shared or how you rated other people. So these things are going into the chat for you. And so we'll invite you to do those and a few other things we want to share with you that we hope that you have enjoyed this fall series that we've done for you. And we have another one coming back in the spring. We asked for some topics, but these will be the dates: February 15th, March 15th, April 19th, and May 17th. We really tried to reach out and find out what would people like. And so what came from that are using read alouds to build content and vocabulary knowledge. So we'll walk through that. We also are going to talk about what disciplinary literacy can look like in an elementary classroom, and summer learning and family engagement. And there's one other session, but we're kind of going to be determining exactly what that will look like because it's based on things that will be presented at the Michigan Reading Association by partners as part of this work. So we hope you'll save those dates. And in the meantime, you can watch these. Again, like I said at the beginning, their videos are recorded and available on YouTube. If you go to the same place where you registered, there's a place that'll say like watch the session and you can click on that. The final thing is we want to make sure that you know how to get in touch with us. So here's all of our information. So anytime you want to reach out, we'd love to hear from you and support you as we can. And as you are out and about on social media, there's a lot of it for better or for worse, but there's lots of ways you can keep in touch with us at the Michigan Learning Channel or Mesa. And so there's some ways that you can do that and hashtags that we have to be able to tag us and things. And finally, thank you for being here. We'd really love your feedback. We do read every single comment that people put into the feedback forms for us, and they're very helpful in planning and knowing what's supporting you going forward. So you're going to see a sketch app come into the chat. Oh, it is. Thank you very much. And also the ISD link, if you're not sure which ISD you're in, which hopefully you are sure, but just in case you're not, that's going into the chat as well. So thank you. Some of you might be popping right over. There's